I'm Rob.
And I'm Nate.
And welcome back to Rob and Nate Record a Podcast. This is episode 4 of our 2021 Christmas movies. Mm-hmm. And tonight's selection was a
2015
film called The Night Before.
Starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogan, and Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
As well as Leslie Kaplan, Mindy Kaling,
Michael Shannon.
Miley Cyrus, Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan as the narrator, and various others.
Yep. So where do we want to start on this
Well,
one?
this was your selection.
So I picked this one, so let me back up. I felt like Remember the Night was going to be a pretty safe, good, solid movie. So I was going for some different things on the other two. My general goal this year was to go for things that are outside of the box of what I would normally pick for
things
Christmas
that
movies.
Aren't super well known.
Well, I traditionally
Christmas
pick
choices.
like your very traditional Christmas movies, like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, White Christmas. So I was trying to go outside of the box and break my own mold this month or this year for these selections. And so Remember the Night I felt like was my solid, safe pick, and so I felt like I'd throw out 2 flyers on the others. I failed when I threw out the flyer on Mixed Nuts. And I was hoping that The Night Before would be something along the lines of, something comparable to Bad Santa.
Yeah.
So the Imdb plot of this movie is on Christmas Eve, 3 lifelong friends spend the night in New York City looking for the holy grail of Christmas parties.
The Nutcracker Ball.
Yep. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, his character name is Ethan, and his family was killed, I guess, on Christmas Eve.
Well, Ethan wasn't killed, but his family was killed around Christmas time 2001.
Yeah, and so his friends Isaac and Chris have, ever since on Christmas Eve, they go out and they all kind of party together. And they've had a series of traditions as they party, but they've been looking for the Nutcracker Ball for many years. And finally, Ethan comes across tickets to the Nutcracker Ball.
Indeed.
And so, then various hijinks ensue, and yes.
Various hijinks ensue, yes. That's an accurate description.
So, Nate, what are your first impressions of this movie?
The night before, we watched Remember the Night, which is the better movie.
Yes.
This is fine.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was likable enough.
So I was going for something that would be comparable to Bad Santa. How did I fare there?
It's not Bad Santa. It's like the watered down version of Bad Santa.
It wants to be so many other movies. Part of the problem with this movie is it doesn't ever commit to what it wants to be.
Okay.
It's trying to. I mean, it has Home Alone in it multiple times. Yeah. It has,
It's a Seth Rogan druggy movie throughout a good portion of it. It's trying to, it's sentimental. It has sentimental aspects to it, and I guess it kind of has a moral or two to it.
They don't always make sense. Like the Michael Shannon getting wings, that didn't make sense to me.
This was just random humor. Yeah. Michael Shannon was an angel the whole time, even though he was their childhood drug dealer from high school.
And the host of the party.
Who they hit up to get drugs because they need them for plot reasons. They hit
him up for marijuana.
They have an assortment of other drugs, which Seth
Rogen's wife
provides them because he's been so good as they're preparing for the birth of their child, and it's like, you need to have a night on your own, so I got you a sort of drugs.
Yes.
And that is a very Seth Rogen movie thing to do.
Yes.
And you even had, unexpectedly, a James Franco cameo.
Yep.
Which didn't age well, as James Franco has not.
Yeah.
And even Seth Rogen will tell you as much.
Yeah. So, this movie, like I said, it's a hijinks movie. It's a set piece movie. It sets up various gags and things. It's entertaining. It's funny, but it's not a great film.
The most I laughed in it, I think, was the same sequence where you were laughing a lot too, which was the Midnight Mass sequence.
Yeah.
That was the best part of the movie.
Yeah. So, and then that scene for, those of you who are unfamiliar with this movie, Seth Rogen obviously is Jewish and meets his wife's family outside of a church.
Not only is he Jewish, he's wearing a Christmas sweater that has a big old Star of David on it, and it's the colors of the Israeli flag.
Yeah. And he's been looking for his phone, and he's so high that he's having conversations with the manger scene outside the church.
I was talking to Spencer.
Yeah.
Which is what he calls Joseph and his family. They're multiracial.
Yeah. And his wife shows up outside the church, and her family's right there, and he ends up going into the church into midnight mass with them and proceeds to draw a lot of attention to himself, embarrass the entire family, and then he gets sick in the church, and it's funny and inappropriate.
Yeah.
And yeah. Fortunately, they didn't drag it out any further than they did.
Yeah,
or it probably
right.
wouldn't have worked very well. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to be an exceptionally long episode.
Most of the humor is you kind of have to see it in context for it to really be
to resonate.
You know, it's fine. It's a modest movie, actually. You know, it's not trying to reinvent the wheel, and it has that the Anthony Mackie needs to learn to. He's a football player who was mediocre, and then he started taking steroids. Now he's gotten good, but he's 34. And they're like, you're starting to get good when everybody else is getting ready to retire. It's like, it's suspicious. And so he has to kind of deal with that. And then Seth Rogan has to deal with how he's going to become a father. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt has to deal with
growing up,
his inability to commit, and how that potentially cost him the relationship with the woman he loves, Lizzie Kaplan, and how to make that right. It's just all pleasant. The humor has its moments. I enjoyed
the beginning's slow though.
Jason Mantzoukas as the Santa Claus third grade teacher that decks him,
beats the tar out of him. Yeah. This movie is directed by Jonathan Levine, who has worked with Seth Rogan before. He directed... Now I'm blanking on the name of it. He directed Warm Bodies and Long Shot, which recently came out. He's got some other... I guess he was the director of 9 Perfect Strangers, which is on Hulu. Oh. That came out this year and has garnered a lot of attention. So yeah, he's done work with Seth Rogan before. He's also done work with Amy Schumer, directed Snatched. If you're a fan of those types of comedies, you'll probably like this.
It's kind of a milder version, actually, than a lot of the things I associate with Seth Rogan.
Yeah,
it's a little watered down.
Yeah,
which makes it, I guess, more palatable as a Christmas film.
This is definitely rated R. Mm. So for those of you who are sensitive to rated R content, you might want to skip this one, which I assume also means you skip Bad Santa. Yeah. What else do you want to say about this movie?
Yeah, it's pretty much there on the page, as it were.
Yeah, if you've watched the trailer, you probably have an idea of what you're getting into.
I did kind of like Jillian Bell, who plays
Betsy,
Seth Rogen's wife.
Yeah,
she's a little bit on the plumper side. It's kind of an unconventional. I hadn't really seen her, but I found her quite pleasant.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and rate this movie. How would you rate it?
Well, I want to talk just briefly about how it did.
Oh, yeah?
We usually talk about how it did.
I totally spaced that because our other ones didn't really have...
So, critically, it was a 69% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Which is decent. I think about where it belongs. And it made $52.4 box office on a budget estimated at somewhere between 25 and 33 million. So, it's a modest moneymaker.
What did you say its total gross was?
52.4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. On the worldwide, its domestic was 43.
Okay.
So
it's one that shows up occasionally on cable.
Were you aware of this before tonight?
This movie?
Yeah,
I was aware that the movie existed.
I was not aware of this before I started researching this year.
I remember watching previews for it, but I remembered them as being more recent than 2015. But it was 2015.
Yeah. How would you rate the movie? You mentioned its Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah. It's fine. I would probably give it 2 to 2.5 and probably 6 on the 10 scale.
I think we agree on this one. I'd give it 2 and 6. It's fun. It's one of those 6-star movies you can enjoy, but it's not like going to be your all-time favorite movie.
Yeah.
So
I will probably never see this again.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind watching it one time.
No, neither did I. So now, Nate, let's rank the movies for the month. I'm fairly sure I know how the rankings are going to go, and I'm fairly sure that we're going to agree on the rankings.
Well, the two that are the most obvious is going to be that the number 1 was Remember the Night, and number 4 was Mixed Nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to put The Night Before at number 2.
Oh, are you?
And the Three Kings at number 3.
I was going to probably put the Three Kings at number 2 and The Night Before at number 3.
It's really close.
Yeah, those are kind of interchangeable.
Yeah, it could be at any given moment. Yep.
Remember the Night was definitely the strong one this month.
Yeah.
And Mixed Nuts was definitely the weak one this month. And yeah, we were pretty sure before we even started this movie tonight where the rankings were going to be. So, yeah. Well, if there's nothing else, this is our 2021 Christmas episodes, and I'm Rob.
I'm Nate.
And it says Rob and Nate Record a Podcast.
Shouldn't be hard to edit.
Nope, you should edit pretty darn quick. So, you got any quick quips for us? You holding any puns back, or did you already burn them?
I can't produce things on demand like that.
Well, you've been holding them back on me
I
before.
know, sometimes I have.
I told you earlier you already wasted your puns on me.
I think I spilled most of them earlier in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about was totally appropriate.
I'm Rob.
I'm Nate.
I'm Rob.
I am Nate.
It's... Still got it wrong. It's I'm Rob and I'm Nate.
Yeah, I'm Nate.
You forgot the word and.
Oh.